Good afternoon and welcome to Football League World TV. It's time for the EFL Wednesday night preview. We had plenty of EFL action last night. We've still got 6 more championship games this evening. My name is Sam Rourke, the Chief Editor of footballleagueworld.co.uk, and I'm joined by 2 of my colleagues, Billy Mulley and Ben Wignall. Billy, how you getting on?
Yeah, doing very well, thank you. As we were just talking about, there's a crunch match for my Luton tonight. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to speaking a little bit about it and all the other games that are on tonight.
Yeah, certainly a big game for you boys. Ben, how you getting on?
Yeah, all right, Sam. Some interesting games last night across all 3 divisions, and it's just championship tonight we're looking at, and obviously some interesting games at both ends of the table. So I'm looking forward to delving into it.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, 6 championship games taking place this evening. We're going to dissect and discuss all 6 of them for you this afternoon. Just a reminder, we are broadcasting live on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. So get yourself in the comments. We do want to hear from you. Are you off to a game this evening? What are your score predictions? Please do let us know. So let's get straight into it. Okay, we're going to start off with the game at Pride Park. Derby County play host to Gary Rowett's Millwall this evening. It's a big game, certainly for the home side, if they have any aspirations of avoiding the drop. Reading's win last night means there's an 8-point gap between Derby and safety right now. So you do feel this evening's game against the London club Millwall will be a big one for Rooney and his side. Billy, I'll come to you first. With Reading winning last night, this does put a little bit more pressure on Derby, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And to be in this position and speaking about Derby's survival chances is a big credit to the project that Wayne Rooney's embarked on at the start of the season and into these middle stages, and the fact that we're now looking at a Derby side, that have come so close in terms of cutting the gap to just 2 points, I think it was at one point, and now it's been extended again to 8 points. I think that it makes these games coming at home against a side that have been relatively poor away from home quite crucial, and I think doing it as well without Tom Lawrence again adds to the difficulty in what remains this season, adding to particular pressure onto tonight's game. And I think it's a game with 2 teams that have very strong home form. So the fact that it comes at Pride Park is massive for Derby. 16 points from the last 6 games at Pride Park is a very good return at this stage of the season. And if they are to survive, if they are to escape the position they're in at the moment, then this home form is going to be key in what remains, and hoping to pick up away form. But I think more emphasis comes on these home games, and looking at Millwall as well as they've done in recent weeks, it's a very winnable tie for Derby. Have been excellent this season. The players that have started to come through. I think Max Bird, again, another incredible season so far. Having Bielik back as well, it will be massive. Luke Plange as well, another player that, hadn't heard of at the start of the season. And he's starting to become a sort of an integral part of Derby's fight for survival. So I think there's a lot of things going right for Derby at the moment. That their gap from survival may have been extended, but I think Rooney's side would be confident that they can go out and really impose themselves against Millwall tonight.
Yeah, obviously Derby coming into this game off the back of a really, really big win for them against Peterborough. Last-minute Louis Sibley goal, securing a massive 3 points for the Rams in their hopes of avoiding the drop. Ben, I'll just come to you with regards to a little bit of team news. Obviously, Tom Lawrence is unavailable for this evening's game due to suspension. Just how big of a blow will it be for Derby not having him in the side?
Yeah, I think it'll be a massive blow. He's kind of being the player that makes them tick, especially in recent months. He's kind of, won some games all on his own. And I think Louis Sibley, like he did on Saturday against Peterborough, has to step up now. He's not had the best year or so in terms of getting, in goal scoring positions, not like when he had his breakthrough in 2020. So yeah, I think Louis Sibley needs to step up the next few games whilst Lawrence is missing. But on the other end of the spectrum, Millwall are missing a lot of key attacking players as well. Forby, Burke, or Joe Bradshaw all out injured. So, like Billy said, I think this is a very winnable game for Derby, because they need to claw back that gap to Reading that's now 8 points. So this is the game in hand that can take them to 5. So yeah, I think it's a very important game, but definitely a winnable one for Derby.
Yeah, Millwall currently sit 9 points off the playoffs. They've played 31 games. They do have a couple of games in hand on some of the teams above them. Billy, what do you think the aspirations will be for Gary Rowett and his Millwall side for the remainder of this campaign? Is it simply just to see out the rest of the campaign, see what happens? You never know, a playoff push could be on the cards. But what sort of objective do you think Gary Rowett will have in his mind?
In his mind, he'll definitely still be thinking about the playoffs. I think their performance solely against QPR is enough of an indication that they can definitely go on and achieve top 6 this season. But I think he's gone on to sort of play down the talk about them being playoff contenders. Sorry. So I think in that respect, he's going to be thinking in his head that it is possible, whilst it still is mathematically possible. I think the possibility is always going to be there, but at the same time, he doesn't want to put too much pressure on himself by claiming something quite big and quite bold in that respect. I think that, again, similar to Derby, I think away form needs to improve if they are going to be genuine playoff contenders, but at the same time, 10 points from 5 games, Jed Wallace coming back into form, and a bright spark in Tyler Bury coming to the fray. I think there's certainly some stuff to be positive about in a season where Rowett has been under pressure for the large part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Well, anyone watching this, are you off to the Derby Millwall game this evening? Let us know your score predictions. Can Rooney mastermind another win for the Rams? Let's get your score predictions then, Billy and Ben. Billy, what is your score prediction for Derby Millwall tonight?
I think Derby are going to edge this one and do some good, make some good progress in their survival fight. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to the Rams.
Okay, and Ben, what are you going to opt for?
I'm going to go with a 2-0 Derby win. I just think with Millwall's injuries and Derby, the kind of momentum they've got, I just think they'll get it over the line.
Okay, we had a comment coming from Wayne Walden. Great to have you again with us this afternoon. He thinks Millwall will win this game at Pride Park 2-1. Right, well, that's our look at Derby Millwall. Let's look at Fulham Peterborough next. Top of the table, Fulham play host to struggling Posh this evening at Craven Cottage. Fulham will be looking to get back to winning ways after they were defeated by Huddersfield Town last Saturday in the early kickoff that put a slight dent in their promotion aspirations, but they are still looking pretty at the top of the Sky Bet Championship table. As for Peterborough, every single game will count now. They are in the midst of a fierce relegation battle right now. Obviously, managerless right now after Darren Ferguson's departure. Billy, I'll come to you first. This is a real stern task for Posh tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's massive for them. But at the same time, we look at Fulham as this, unbeatable force that have been incredible all season. But you feel that if Peterborough had the opportunity to play them at any point, it would be after their loss against Huddersfield Town on Saturday, because as well as Fulham have been doing this year, they've looked a class above for the majority of the campaign. They did deserve to lose that game at Huddersfield. Huddersfield came with a game plan and were, for the vast majority of the game, they were better than Fulham. So if Peterborough were to select a time to play Fulham, I think this would be the perfect opportunity for them. Of course, it's not going to be easy whatsoever for Peterborough, and I feel that they've played some good football at times this season. It's just turning good possession into consistent chances that's been a big problem. And I think against a team like Fulham, you're constantly going to be out of possession. It's about making meaningful chances with the lack of possession you do get. So I definitely think it's a very, very tough task for Peterborough. But now Ferguson's gone, not quite a new manager bounce yet, because there's no full-time manager in contention right yet. But I feel that sometimes these things can play into a club's hand, and I think that's definitely Peterborough's line of thinking going into this one, because there is definitely a gulf of quality. It's just whether they can if whether they can beat them in 90 minutes, that's all that's gonna matter.
Yeah, Posh haven't scored a league goal in their last 5 league games and haven't won a league game since early December. So, Ben, I mean, the stats and the form really do suggest a convincing home win here tonight, doesn't it?
Yeah, and especially when you think back to Fulham's last loss before the Huddersfield one, which was against Sheffield United in the next game. I know you won't remember this, Sam, but they pasted Reading 7-0. So, I think Peterborough is probably the perfect opposition for them if they want to, kind of get a confidence boosted win back. They'll be looking to prove a point, even though they are still a few points clear at the top in it. If they don't drop many points between now and the end of the season, they should be home and hose when it comes to getting back to the Premier League. But they've got so much firepower, and Peterborough, we know they've got a bit of a leaky defence and have done for the last few months. So I'd be shocked if it was anything but a really comfortable, convincing Fulham win.
Yeah, your words are echoed by Wayne Walden. Fulham will win 5-0. Come on, Fulham. Mitro will score 3 goals. Definitely will be a tough one for that Posh back line who have been pretty leaky this season. Billy, let's get your score prediction then for Fulham Peterborough tonight.
I'm going to go for less convincing, but still convincing enough. I'm going to go for a 3-0 Fulham victory with Mitro to finally break that championship record. Okay,
and Ben, what are you going for?
I'll go in the middle of Billy and Wayne. We'll go with a 4-0 Fulham win.
4-0 Fulham win. Wayne, well said, Ben. There we go. Right, well, that's our look at Fulham, Peterborough. Are you off to that game tonight at Craven Cottage? Do you think Posh have any chance of pulling off a shock result in London this evening? Please do let us know. Right, let's look at Huddersfield, Cardiff. Huddersfield Town play host to Cardiff City at the John Smiths Stadium. Our reporter Alfie Burns will be live at the John Smiths Stadium tonight for Football League World, to make sure to check out all the updates on his Twitter account. Huddersfield are unbeaten in their last 15 games in all competitions. Carlos Corberan's side are firmly in the race for a playoff push right now. As for Cardiff City, they're now 15 points clear of the relegation zone in the second tier. So it looks like their fears of dropping down to League One have been relinquished over the last few weeks, and positive results under Steve Morrison. Billy, let's come to you first. This is arguably a bigger game for Huddersfield tonight, given the nature of their position in the table. How do you see this one panning out tonight?
I think it'll be a very tightly contested game. I think Cardiff have been quite impressive under Steve Morrison, especially in more recent times. And the January signings have come in and given them a big boost in terms of their performances, in terms of the results as well. So in that respect, Huddersfield won't be viewing Cardiff as an easy, 3 points or anything along that kind of line of thinking. Huddersfield, for me, have been disregarded, I think, in terms of the playoff race. People thinking sort of when are they going to drop out and allow teams like Forest and Middlesbrough and Sheffield United to enter the playoffs. So their victory against Fulham, I think, served as a bit of a reminder of the quality they do possess and the amazing job that Carlos Corberan is doing as well this season. And you sort of look at their team and sort of the perfect ingredients at the moment. They've got a defense that's really solid. It's had its test this year, but that they've come over it the best sort of way possible in terms of their wing backs to give real width and attacking threat as well. Lewis O'Brien and Jonathan Hogg in the middle, real energy and real control and composure. And then you've got Danny Ward, who, his goal scoring record has been brilliant this season, and, the positions he's getting himself into. So Huddersfield, for me, are the real deal at the moment. And they won't be viewing Cardiff, as I said before, as an easy test or a real good opportunity for 3 points. Instead, they'll go into this game with a mindset they have all season, and that will be to outwork their opponents. I'm looking forward to this game. I think Huddersfield are a team that still will have the automatic promotion zone in their mind because of how impressive, because of their start to 2022. So again, it's a massive game for Huddersfield, and if they win, then you know that their promotion bid is strengthened. If they lose, then it will be interesting to see if they can maintain this top 6 push. So massive game.
Yeah, this won't be an easy task for Carlos Corberan's side this evening, though. Cardiff City, 4 wins from their last 6, 2 of them including some really impressive results. They're beating Forest, beating Coventry, some good wins there. Ben, do you expect it to be quite a bit more of a tricky test than maybe some would expect tonight for Huddersfield?
I think so, yeah. I think Cardiff will definitely, pose more of a defensive challenge for Huddersfield to try and break down, playing Fulham, who are obviously really good going forward. They left themselves kind of open at times to the counter-attack, but I don't think Cardiff will do that. They'll look to play on the counter themselves, and watching Huddersfield last week against Preston in person, they didn't particularly impress me going forward, and we didn't park the bus by any means either. They were very kind of resolute at the back, and it's going to take, either John Hugel or Uche Piazza will be playing, and that's going to be a tough test for whoever's at the back for Huddersfield, because they've kind of given Cardiff an extra dimension, considering Kiefer Moore, before he exited to Bournemouth, wasn't particularly performing at the level we know he can do, and those two have kind of come in and freshened things up. So I think Huddersfield might, find that kind of side of the game difficult, but I think they'll also find it difficult to break Cardiff down. I can't see it being a very high scoring game. I think there might just be 1 goal in it.
Yeah, it does suggest it could be quite a close encounter this tonight. Wayne Walden's got in touch again. Huddersfield win 2-1. They are a good team. Billy, let's get your score prediction for Huddersfield Cardiff this evening.
Going to have to agree with Wayne. I think 2-1 is a perfect assessment of what we can expect tonight. I think in terms of Cardiff, their new signings have played a massive part, but ultimately I think it's Huddersfield that look the strongest at the moment and perhaps need the win more than their opponents.
Okay, and Ben, what are you going for tonight?
I'm going to go with a very tight 1-0 Huddersfield win, although I think it could potentially go either way, but I can't see Huddersfield's unbeaten run ending tonight.
Yeah, that certainly would be a massive result for the Terriers this evening if they did pick up 3 points as they currently sit in the playoff positions right now. Right, that's our look at Huddersfield Cardiff. Let's look at Queen's Park Rangers v Blackpool next. QPR having a little bit of a wobble at the moment. They haven't won in their last 4 league games, but tonight gives them a big opportunity to get back on the winning trail against Neil Critchley's Blackpool. Blackpool have enjoyed a good season back in the Sky Bet Championship. They've looked a really, really strong outfit under Critchley, but they face a tough test against Mark Warburton's Queen's Park Rangers this evening. QPR have a lot of their key players involved tonight. Don't have too many injuries. Rob Dickey's back after his suspension, so we'd imagine we'll go straight back into Warburton's back 3. Billy, let's just touch on Rob Dickey then. Having him back tonight is a real boost for QPR, isn't it?
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. As you said, I think nearer the start of the season, he was almost undroppable, and of course he's got all those qualities, but Dion Sanderson came in and played very well last time out, so it's going to be interesting to see if it's Sanderson that makes way, if Dickey gets straight back into the side, or if it's anyone else that makes way. Of course, QPR at the moment starting to get their squad back together. They've been dealt some pretty horrible injury blows this season on sort of comparing to the rest of the clubs in the division. And the fact that they're starting to get all their players back and their form has dipped is quite strange to me. I can't really put my finger as to why things have started to go wrong. But yeah, this is a massive test for QPR. So yeah, having a player like Rob Dickey back available is going to be massive for them.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're watching this, you can see the probable lineups for this evening's game. One of the key battles for me that's standing out in tonight's game will be Moses Odubarju up against Josh Bowler. Bowler's been in fine form for the Tangerines over the last few months. A real live wire down the right-hand side for the Tangerines. Ben, just how crucial do you think that battle could be? And are there any other sort of key battles you can sense from these probable 11s for tonight's game?
Well, I think the key player for Blackpool is Josh Bowler. He's been a real live wire this season. He's a former QPR player as a youth, and he he was sold to Everton for a couple of million, so he'll be looking to, kind of prove a point. And if it is Odegaard he comes up against, then it's going to be a battle between, two very, very quick players. And obviously, I think QPR have a kind of a selection dilemma in like the front three, because Willock played at left wing back against Hull, and I don't think he's ever going to be as effective there. He's playing further forward, and you would expect him to, move into that kind of front three. And the central midfielders of Blackpool have got a kind of a tough task on the hands, dealing with Chair and Willett, two of the most creative players in the Championship. And obviously Dickey back as well. He's going to be he's obviously a big miss in the last couple of games, and I think him against Gary Medine could be a pretty good battle, because we know what Medine's about. He's a very physical player, and Dickey's a big player as well. So that kind of physical battle is going to be interesting to see. It looks to be a few little good individual battles all over the pitch in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Queen's Park Rangers currently sitting in 4th position in the Championship table. As I said, 4 games without a win now for Mark Warburton's side. Billy, just finally then on Queen's Park Rangers, say they don't pick up 3 points tonight. Would you start to be a little bit concerned about Queen's Park Rangers and their hopes of securing a top 6 finish this season?
I think I'm already concerned for them. I think this winless run, in terms of the performances, they have not been great at all. And the fact that they do have pretty much, well, near enough a full squad back available, for me is sort of the highlight of concern. I guess, again, a win can change everything. And I think QPR are a side that can pluck out a very good performance and a very good result out of thin air. So in that respect, yeah, I won't disregard them at all yet, because of course they're still in a very strong position. It's just form that's taken a little bit of a wobble. But yeah, I think if Blackpool are to get a positive result tonight, then yeah, the teams just outside the playoffs will definitely be viewing QPR as a team that they can leap over and get into the playoffs through their misfortunes.
Okay, right, let's get your score predictions for QPR Blackpool tonight. Billy, let's come back to you then for that.
I've been really impressed with Blackpool this season, and yeah, I'm going to back them here to win this one, to edge it 1-0.
Okay, and Ben, what are you opting for this evening?
Yeah, as unbiased as I am as a reporter, I hate giving Blackpool any modicum of credit, but they have been playing pretty well recently. Only 1 loss in the last 7 since the turn of the year. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw for them. QPR have not been in the greatest form themselves recently, so it'll smacks for probably a close draw.
Okay, just a reminder to all those watching, get your score predictions in for tonight's Championship games. Are you off to a game? Please do let us know in the comments. Right, let's touch on Sheffield United v Blackburn next. Sheffield United play host to Blackburn Rovers tonight. The Blades in fantastic form under the charge of Paul Heckingbottom. As for Blackburn, they've been in a dodgy patch of form, only 1 win in their last 6 games. Ben Brereton Diaz facing a lengthy period out with injury as well. So that's a major blow for Tony Mowbray and his side. So please do ignore that graphic you can see on screen. Brereton Diaz is not fit and will not be playing in tonight's game at Bramall Lane. Billy, Sheffield United have been quite irresistible of late, haven't they? They've really turned it on. Do you think Blackburn are in for a tough one this evening?
100%. And I think when looking at Sheffield United at the moment, they're a team that have been dealt some pretty difficult injury blows. So the fact that they're still maintaining this form and still looking like the team to be in the division is quite incredible, really. I think good thing with Sheffield United as well is that they've had that core, sort of a brilliant core squad since the start of the campaign. It's just finally getting it all working, and I think that's something that Paul Heckingbottom has certainly done, and something he's completely achieved. And whilst they will miss the likes of Bogle and Rhian Brewster, who was ruled out the other week, that they've got players in abundance with quality. Morgan Gibbs-White, Iliman and Dyer as well, 2 players that, have proven time and time again this season they have the creative abilities and even goal scoring abilities to impact games. And defensively speaking, I think when you just look at the personnel they still possess in that back line, it really speaks for itself. So yeah, Sheffield United are a team that have been a part of that chasing pack in recent weeks, and are definitely looking like good value to get inside the playoff positions. And we'll be looking at this test against Blackburn as, again, I've mentioned it before, but a good time to play Blackburn, who find themselves in a real similar position to QPR, where if they're not careful, if they don't start picking up results again, then their playoff status could go out the window. So yeah, a massive game for both clubs really in chasing the playoffs. Yeah,
Blades 8 games unbeaten in the Championship at the moment. Ben, with leave your bias at the door for this one. Blackburn, as I've already mentioned, have only won 1 in their last 6. Not in the greatest form right now. Do you fear for them in the playoffs, especially considering that the injury news revolving around Ben Brereton Diaz? Are you a little bit fearful about their spot in the playoffs right now?
I am, to be fair, yeah. The likes of Sheffield United and Middlesbrough in decent form, coming up from the 6th and 7th places. And, in the last month or so, Blackburn have been on quite a slump. I think, being friends with a few Blackburn fans, they have said February's normally the month in history that in recent seasons that they've kind of slipped up, whether they've got promoted or they've been in the Championship. And it's proving to be the case again. And with Brereton now injured for the weeks hasn't been disclosed, but the fact he's in a boot and got ankle ligament damage suggests it's not going to be a quick fix. That's going to be a huge blow. I know he's not scored in 2022 for Blackburn, but he's still the main source of creativity and chances. So I think Sam Gallagher's now got to step up. It's going to be hard shoes to fill. And they probably couldn't have asked for a tougher game right now, considering the form Sheffield United are in the injuries they've got. They've still got quite a solid defence, Blackburn, but they attack the form of, Gibbs White, Sharp, Illiman and Dye as well. I think Sheffield United have a lot of creative presence in that team, and I think Blackburn, they might struggle to contain Sheffield United here.
Yeah, Sheffield United, if they win this evening, could go as high as 4th tonight. Just finally then on the Blades, Billy, do you class Sheffield United as a team that could contend for an automatic promotion place this season?
I think they've definitely got to be considered. That their recent form, the form since the turn of the new year, it definitely suggests that they are a team that will be there or thereabouts at the end of the season. I think as EFL fans, we've accepted that they're probably ensured their status as a playoff team. It's just how far and how high they can go. As I said, they've been dealt some pretty difficult injuries in terms of the players, in terms of where they've come from. I think wing back is an area that they've been particularly dealt blows in terms of the injury department. So I think that ensuring that some players at least come back and I think that will be key in terms of whether they can maintain an automatic promotion fight. But yeah, I think they've definitely got to be considered at this point. They've been incredible since Heckingbottom has took charge, and I think that they're only going in one direction. I think that the other teams in the playoffs will be thinking that they prefer to see Sheffield United go up in the automatics, because they'll be very, very difficult to beat if they are in the playoffs.
Yeah, certainly a tough game for Tony Mowbray's Blackburn this evening, given the run of form that the Blades have been on. Right, Billy, let's get your score prediction for Blades v Blackburn.
I'm going to go for a comfortable 2-0 to the Blades.
Okay, and Ben, what are you going for?
I'm going to go with a 3-1 Sheffield United win.
Okay, Billy and Ben both opting for Sheffield United this evening. Get yourself in the comments. What do you think the score will be between Sheffield United and Blackburn this evening? We'd love to get your thoughts. Right, we've got one more game to touch on next. And the final game that we're going to be previewing on this Wednesday night EFL preview show is Stoke City against Luton Town. Nathan Jones coming up against his former club in the Potters. Luton still have hopes of reaching the top 6 and not too far away as it stands, as they currently sit in 10th position. Billy, as a Luton Town fan, we were talking just before we came on air. Just how big of a game is this for the Hatters this evening?
Oh, it's massive. It's one of the games that I've got nervous about waking up this morning, and I know there's still a large chunk of the season left to play, but I feel that it's going to be games like tonight that will be pivotal. There's a real good feeling in the Luton camp at the moment, and the fact that Luton are just 4 points off the playoffs is incredible enough. The fact that they remain in a playoff fight is that little bit better, and I think they'll have all the confidence in the world going into this game, especially with Stoke being a place that they typically don't get results from, and the fact that Luton have managed to break curses this season. They hadn't beaten Barnsley in God knows how long. West Brom as well were a bogey side, so the fact that they've gone and broken these respective curses will give the Hatters every chance of going up and being confident in this game. And they're going to have to be at their very best, because Stoke made some good signings in January. Players are getting back from injury as well, and Stoke still possess an outside chance of getting the playoffs themselves. And it's a pivotal game for them, I feel, too.
Yeah, if you were to go off the head-to-head stats, as you can see on the screen, in the previous 6 meetings, Stoke have won the last 5, and the other one's been a draw. Luton haven't beaten Stoke in their last 6 games, so the omens potentially looking towards the Potters. Ben, let's just come to you then. Let's just touch on Michael O'Neill's Stoke. Only 1 win in their last 6 games. It looked at one point earlier on in the season that Stoke were a genuine playoff team here. They looked like a team that were almost guaranteed to finish in that top 6, but it's kind of faltered in recent weeks and months, hasn't it?
Yeah, they've been very inconsistent. There's been quite a few draws here and there, and they can't seem to get a consistent winning run of form going. They probably should have beat Nottingham Forest last week when Bryce Samba got sent off and Lewis Baker scored a penalty, but of course they slipped up again against 10 men very late on. There's been impressive performances in between that. They beat Swansea 3-0 and blew them away. And looking at the team, they've got so many good forward options. Nick Powell, Tyrese Campbell, Josh Madra as well. So they should be kind of being able to blow teams away. And Bidas as well from Villa, who's kind of impressing already. But obviously with the Nathan Jones factor and how Luton are playing, this could be a tough test. Obviously, it's a lot different to how Luton used to playing at home. Kenilworth Road, the small, tight pitch compared to Stoke. A big, expansive pitch might throw up some problems, but I think Luton, they've got some pretty decent results recently. And on the Birmingham one was a bit of it came out of nowhere where they lost 3-0. But aside from that, they've been playing pretty well, and it's very hard to split the 2 sides at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Luton coming into this game off the back of an impressive 2-0 home win against West Bromwich Albion last time out. Right, Billy, let's get your score prediction for this one. Again, no bias here, please.
Yeah, as you said before, there's no Luton winning 6, and that record can be extended to 11. It's a place, as I said, bogey teams, and sort of these runs have been stuff that Luton have gone out and beaten this season. But I still feel that the Stoke, there's a lot going right with Stoke in terms of the players they're getting back, in terms of their January signings getting to full fitness and into their stride. So for that reason, I don't think it will be as easy as the form table would suggest. For that reason, I'll go for a 1-1 draw.
1-1. Ben, what are you going for tonight?
I'm going to go with just a very close 2-1 Stoke win. Sorry, Billy.
There we go. Ben opting for a home win in Stoke v Luton this evening. Right, well, that concludes our look at some of the championship games on this Wednesday evening. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in and watching. Thanks for all the comments. If you're watching this show on repeat on YouTube, please do stick a like in below this video and subscribe to our channel. It really does help us grow as we look to branch out into even more EFL content. Coming up for you tomorrow on Football League World TV, we've got the EFL midweek review show. Alfie Burns will be running you through all the midweek results and talking points from the last 2 days. And then later on tomorrow, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the League 2 relegation battle. So plenty of good EFL content to get stuck into here on Football League World TV. But Billy, Ben, thanks for joining me this afternoon, and we shall see you all soon.